to join their song, sung long before our lives, to raise our voice along, heaven and earth alike. We've seen your faithful hand, your mercy without end, a king who bled and died, a God who sacrificed, being thrown upon the praises of 1,000 generations. You are worthy, Lord of all. Unto you, the slain and risen King, we lift our voice with heaven, singing worthy, Lord of all. And all through this life we lead, and unto eternity, our endless praise we cry. Jesus be glorified. And all through this life we lead, and unto eternity, our endless praise will cry. Jesus be glorified. Jesus be glorified. Enthroned upon the praises of 1,000 generations, you are worthy, Lord of all. And I see you, the slain and risen King, we lift our voice with heaven, singing worthy, Lord of all. You are worthy, you are worthy. Highest praises, Lord of all. Highest praises, Lord of all. Highest praises, Lord of all. And highest praises,
Sometimes on this journey, I get lost in my mistakes. What looks to me like weakness is a canvas for your strength. And my story isn't over, my story's just begun. And failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Yeah, failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house. Arrival's not the end game, the journey's where you are. You never wanted perfect, you just wanted my heart. And the story isn't over if the story isn't good. And failure's never final when the Father's in the room. And failure's never final when the Father's in the room. Prodigals come home, the helpless find hope. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Prison doors swing wide, the dead come to life. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Miracles take place, the cynical find faith, and love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Jericho walls are breaking, strongholds now are shaking. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house. Yeah. Lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door. Welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house.
From the darkness, I called your name. Into darkness, your mercy came. You called me out, lifted me up. How great is your love? You bore my weakness, you took my shame. Buried my burdens in fields of grace. You called me out, lifted me up. How great is your love? From the heights of heaven
Welcome. Welcome to our first ever virtual Genesis Community Health Community Benefit Gala. This is a first for us, and we've never done this, but we're going to give it a try. So bear with us as we do this virtually. We much would have preferred to do this live in person, but we'll try to make it as close to live and in person as possible. My name is Doug Moy, and I'm the board chair. And my job this evening is to do three things: to thank our sponsors, to introduce our guests, and then to close in prayer. So let's get going. A great big thanks to our sponsors. This event could not have happened without you. And you guys have been so faithful over the years supporting us. To our hospitals, St. Al's, St. Luke's, thank you very much. You've partnered with us over the years in so many different ways. Norco, you're one of our primary sponsors. You have just stepped up to the plate each and every time that we've called and asked for help. Delta Dental, Willamette Dental, and Ada County Medical Society, same thing. Thank you for continuing to support us over the years. This year we added a couple new sponsors. Chick-fil-A, thank you Chick-fil-A for providing the meals, and Rock Harbor Church for the use of the facilities, for doing this webcast, for just standing alongside us. Thank you. And I have the pleasure of introducing Luke Caldwell and Clint Robertson. We are so blessed to have them here this evening. They are better known as the Boise Boys. They have put Boise real estate on the market, and they are here to speak tonight. I personally feel like I've known them since I've watched them so many times on HGTV, and I've really actually been frustrated with them because I know that my property values and Eagle Road is jammed up all because of them. All kidding aside, they are here this evening, and I'm really looking forward to what they have to say. They have this unique relationship where, if you haven't seen an episode, Luke is the right side artistic, visionary partner, and Clint is the business, budget, hands-on construction, practical partner, and together they have this nervous tension that they play off each other. But their gifts, when they put it all together, it's just amazing the work that they are able to accomplish. And I say all that because it's much like what we're trying to do at Genesis Community Health. We have our staff of volunteers. We have the staff that coordinate everything. We have you, our donors and supporters and partners. We have the Lord that plays a big hand in all this. And we come together, each with our own strengths and with our own abilities, and we serve. We serve the community. This past year, we served over 1,100 individuals that came through our clinic. And it's just been a pleasure to see the people as they walk in and as they get served and helped, where we can share the love of Christ with them. I've been on the board now this is my 8th year, and I've known Dr. Carl Watts, who is the founder of Genesis. I've known him, and through that association, I got hooked into the vision, and I really believe in what we do. Carl started this amazing clinic 19 years ago. We've had some ups and downs, but through it all, God's been faithful, and we continue to grow and serve the community. I've often been asked what it is that's unique about Genesis Community Health. And what I tell people is it's not the quality medical care that we provide. You can get a lot of that at any medical clinic in the valley. It's not necessarily that we don't charge the people that come in for help, because there are other free clinics in the valley. But what sets us apart and what makes it unique is that we share the love of Christ with every individual that comes through the door. We're not in the face sharing the love of Christ, but when you walk in, you could feel it. You know that Christ is existing here. You know that the presence of the Holy Spirit is there. It's not just the Bibles that they can pick up. It's not the scripture on the wall, but it's the fact that the staff prays for the patients every single day. And they feel that care, and they feel that love. And so when they walk out, they've been heard and cared for and loved. That's what sets us apart. Your donations over the years have really helped to grow the clinic. We have a ratio that we use on the board, and we're pretty proud of it, and that is for every dollar that is donated, we're able to turn that into $4 worth of services. $4 worth of medical services, dental services, mental health services, pharmaceutical, and community connections. That goes a long ways, and we're pretty proud that we can leverage that dollar into four other dollars. So it's just so important and so vital that you continue to support us, and we acknowledge that, and we are very grateful for that. So I'm done with the thank yous. I'm done with the intro. Let me close in prayer. My local church is going through the book of Ecclesiastes, and in Ecclesiastes 4:9, Solomon talks about how two are better than one. And he goes on in Ecclesiastes 4:12, saying, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And I say this evening because the 3 strands that I see certainly is having the Lord as the almighty strand. But I see the staff and volunteers as a second strand, and I see you as our partners and donors as a third strand. And together, having the 3 strands, we're not easily broken. So let me close in prayer. Father God, we do feel your presence here this evening. We thank you so much for how you've continued to provide for Genesis. We thank you for the people that have connected with us tonight and for the support that they have given us over the years. We are just in awe of your presence, your provision, your mercy, and your grace. We thank you so much for everybody involved, all 3 strands of our cord. We thank you. We know it's all because of you. And with you, we can do all things. Lord, we just give it to you. We ask that your will be done. And again, we praise and honor you as our almighty King. In your Son's name, amen.
Hey, welcome to the clinic. Just going to give you a quick tour. So glad you could make it today to check Genesis out. So Genesis, we started in 2001. It was started with a Bible study group by Dr. Carl Watts and a few other folks, and they started doing overseas medical missions. But around the same time, there was a free clinic that was closing in downtown called St. John's, and they got together and felt like, you know what, we need to do something locally here as well. And that's when the clinic started. So this is where people first come in to the clinic. This is our waiting room. As you can see, we have a little bit of a different setup right now due to some COVID-19 screening, but we're still serving patients. A lot of that's telehealth, but I'll walk you through stuff the way that we normally do them. So right here in the front, we have our front desk. And when people first come in, they'll meet our front office coordinator, Lisa, and she's joined by a team of mostly student volunteers. One thing that's really neat about our students, a lot of them are pre-med students, and we actually had 6 of our student volunteers get into the WWAMI medical school this year, so something we're really excited about. But yeah, come follow me and I'll take you through the rest. So the first thing a patient does, part of the first thing they do is they do a community health risk screening. So we see if they have needs for food, housing, education, different things like that. And they're led by Linda, our community health coordinator, and another team of community health worker volunteers who then help connect patients to those resources. And here's the office where they will meet with patients and where Linda and Lisa work as well. Another really cool thing that's happened that we've been able to add is our Spanish program. So we have 4 interns from Boise State through their Spanish program, and we're able to provide services completely in Spanish to Spanish-speaking patients, which has been a big need we've had for a while, and we've seen it really grow. So very thankful for that, and that again comes through that community health side of things. But yeah, let's come on back into the clinic. So here's our medical area at the clinic. We have 5 exam rooms. Why don't you come on in and see one of our exam rooms. As you can see, looks like a pretty typical clinic exam room. One thing that's been neat about Genesis from the beginning is the team that started this had a heart to provide just as good a care, if not better, than people could get anywhere else. Even though it was free, felt like that was a great way to reveal and show people God's grace. And so we try to continue doing that as a staff and as a team of volunteers. So we see people in medical on Tuesday and Thursday nights and Wednesday and Friday mornings. All together at Genesis, this isn't just medical, but we have 11 staff and then we have around 200 volunteers. So on a clinic night, we'll have volunteer doctors, nurses, folks in the pharmacy, nurse practitioners, scribes, community health workers, all kinds of different folks. So this is a really busy area during clinic times normally. And it's just so, that volunteer piece is so crucial to that. Another piece of the medical clinic is we have a dispensary. So a lot of our patients will get their meds here, or they might get medications from a pharmacy just like anybody else would go to. So for the less expensive stuff, we're able to keep some of that on hand and give it to patients again at no cost, just like everything else at Genesis. Here's our medical clinic coordinator's office. Her name is Michelle, and she's teamed up with Maggie, who's her assistant, and they basically make sure everything happens in medical, coordinate all those different volunteers, make sure they're equipped and empowered with what they need to do their jobs. And then the break room, it's an important piece, of course. Here's our conference room at the clinic. Any meetings we have or any patient education in groups happens here. AA meets here on Sunday afternoons. And then one of our donors gave us this picture of Christ. It's a great reminder of really who's the boss here at Genesis is what we like to say. So yeah, thankful for that reminder in here. So next we have our dental area. Very similar to medical. There's a coordinator and then there's a dental assistant. So that's Cindy and Danielle are the staff. And then there's roughly 20 or so different volunteers that make dental happen. And that's dentists, dental assistants, hygienists. Couple neat things is we have a really strong partnership with Delta Dental of Idaho. So they provide a hygienist and assistants to help us every week. And then also we've developed a partnership with St. Al's and Delta as well, where we're able to bring in a dentist once a week in addition to the other volunteers that come in. So just a lot of help and just always seeing a lot of need in this area, as we are the only free service for dental needs for adults in the Treasure Valley. But yeah, come and check out these operatories. We have 3 operatories, so we can look at one here. Again, looks like your typical operatory. Everything's done here just like it would be done in any other dental clinic with utmost quality and keeping things clean and all that. Here's our clean room where we clean all the dental instruments and check people in and that sort of thing. And then back here is our third operatory. And we won't go in there because it looks real similar to the other rooms, but that's where a lot of the hygiene happens, mainly supported by Delta Dental, where patients can get preventive care and make sure that they don't have more severe dental needs in the future. Here's our administrative pod. So that's where my office is, our CEO, Steve Davis, who you're going to be hearing from soon, and our development coordinator, Danae, is back here. And then other times we'll have volunteers working back here as well. This office is where our volunteer coordinator is. So her name's Rita, and she coordinates. So she recruits most of our volunteers. She orients them to Genesis, and then she schedules them. So as you can imagine, with 200 volunteers, that's a pretty big job. So obviously really thankful for all the work that she does there. Next, I'm going to take you into our counseling room. So this is where patients from Genesis receive counseling for things like depression, anxiety, marital issues, kind of whatever folks are needing to work through. We have a really great partnership with Methodist Counseling, and so their graduate interns who are graduate students in NNU, they come and provide that counseling for free, and on their end they have to get so many hours to get licensed, so it meets that need. And we just see a lot of really amazing things happen with patients through this service where people really say, hey, this saved my life. I didn't even leave the house before this happened. So really thankful for this as well. And then last but not least, we have the Office for Two programs. So that's Abigail, and she is teamed up with an AmeriCorps volunteer named Luke. But what they do is, one program is the Volunteer Physicians Network. So we have agreements with both hospital systems as well as about 140 independent specialists. So they connect our patients with free specialty care like surgeries, various treatments and procedures. It's always at no charge. So obviously a huge help to patients, as well as our medication assistance program. So things like insulins, inhalers, those kinds of things that are much more expensive. Just to give you an idea, insulin, the average I think right now is about $500 a month to pay for that. A lot of our patients maybe make $10,000 a year, so you do the math, and it's just not affordable. So we're able to help get those for those patients at no cost. And each month, the value of just that and what's going out of here is anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 a month, just in the value in medication. So obviously another huge service and help to folks. And then last but not least, we have what's left of Genesis, which is just warehouse. It's a big room, so hopefully one day we'll get to open this door and see expansion happening as our needs continue to grow. And when this clinic first started, it was completely a Windows warehouse. Genesis was donated a trailer from St. Luke's that was parked in this parking lot out here, and they would see walk-in patients. Today, we're appointment-based. We operate very similar to any other clinic, but just have a very large breadth of services we're able to offer folks. And again, we do all this to express Christ's love in a tangible way. We say this is His clinic, and we're stewards of it. So I hope you've enjoyed the tour, and have a blessed night. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to this evening's first virtual event. My name is Steve Davis. I am the CEO at Genesis Community Health, and it is such a pleasure to be with you here tonight. Before we get started, we've got a couple housekeeping things because there are people where virtual events, it's kind of new for all of us. So the page that you're on, the web page that you're on watching this right now, is called an event page. And so you will be able to see, like towards the bottom, buttons to donate. You'll see a progress bar. You will see the donor wall where we're thanking you as you guys are making donations. And so that's an event page. But if you're watching this in a small little box, you can make that box full screen and all of that can go away. So you would just click on the bottom right-hand corner of the video window and you'll be able to see the whole thing. So I'm really excited to get started. And so we will first talk about Genesis last year by the numbers. And it was a really good year. As you see, we had 1,148 patients, and we were able to serve them 5,392 times. And there are different areas. We have the medical, we have dental, we have community health, and we also have mental health. And you can see that each one of those areas have people that we're caring for all throughout the year. If we zoom out to take a look at what it looks like over the past several years, then you see that we have consistently been growing for the last 4 to 5 years at a rate that makes our compound annual growth rate at about 16%. And the reason why that is really exciting is because essentially every 5 years, we could potentially double the number of patients that we're seeing and caring for here in the Treasure Valley. Just really exciting. On the right-hand side of the chart is our encounters. And so what encounters are those are the patient visits of those 1,148 patients. So as you would guess, a lot of our patients will come for medical, and they'll come for dental, they'll come for mental health care, and so each one of those count as an encounter for that one patient. So that is what we're looking at, and if you look at the last several years, you'll see that those encounters have been growing almost right along with the discrete patients. So it's really been an exciting time and an awesome opportunity to be serving here over the last 4 years. So that's our access. The next is, who do we serve? So we serve people who are 200% and less of the federal poverty level. And how the 200% works is that United Way, St. Al, St. Luke's, they do needs assessments. And across the country, 200% is kind of that barrier where people no longer have to make decisions between health care and transportation or food for their families. That's where they can start to have all of the things. So what we're doing is we're stepping in and saying that and below, based on the size of their household, those are the people that we're going to be taking care of. And so those are on the screen. You can see that there's number of people in the household. That's the income level that if they're that or less, then they're able to receive care at Genesis if they have no insurance. So no insurance ties into Medicaid expansion. So this year, Medicaid expansion happened, and there was a blessing of a lot of people who now have medical care. Many of our Genesis patients also got medical care at that point as well. So what does that mean for Genesis? Well, there is still a safety net that is a gap between the 200%, where they no longer have to make decisions, and the 138%, which is where Medicaid ends. So that is the gap that Genesis Community Health fills, is taking care of those people and then others who do not have Medicaid. And so what Genesis is letting our donors and our partners and our volunteers know is that we are the safety net of the safety net. And so this has been an ongoing transformation for us. It started last summer, and as Doug kind of alluded to, we have been blessed with so many partners in this community. Last summer, we reached out to Terry Riley, we reached out to FMRI, and we said, okay, how are you guys going to be for Medicaid and patients? And they worked with us, St. Al's worked with us, and they prepared for our patients to be transitioned over to Medicaid patients. And Terry Riley, for example, during the summer and the fall, they met with our community health workers, and we trained patients how to take a look at who is going to be transitioning and how they do it. And we walked alongside many of those people and helped them through the transition. That started in January, and so that was starting out, and we were still seeing plenty of patients because as the community used to be 90,000 people who were eligible for Genesis Community Health, it dropped to 30,000 people who are eligible. And when you take a look at Genesis being able to serve around 1,100, we have lots of opportunity for growth and caring for this community even after the Medicaid expansion. So that has been quite a transformation for us, and we're continuing to put our best foot forward on making it a positive and very good transition for all of our patients. And the next thing, of course, that came right after the January is COVID-19. And during the COVID-19, our board met, and our director, medical director, and our dental director met with our teams, and we immediately went into how can we care for our patients and what should we be doing during this time. And we took proactive steps listening to the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, the American Dental Association, and of course our own state government, as they were sharing with us what are the safety protocols to put in place. Our number one objective was to keep our patients, our staff, and our volunteers safe. And our second objective, as we thought through this, was to see if and how we could continue to serve patients that have nowhere else to go. There are patients, and some of them, diabetes doesn't end, hypertension doesn't end, anxiety, depression certainly doesn't end. So how can we see those most at risk? And that is what we focused on for the last couple months, is taking care of them. The last thing, of course, we need to do is funding, making sure that we still have the funding to not only take care of our normal day-to-day, but also to be prepared for how we take care of the COVID-19 personal protective equipment, medical supplies, and other things that we've had to adjust. So these have been the three major things that have kept us hopping over the last couple months. And one of the exciting things is that we had on our long-term range plans telemedicine. We knew that telemedicine was going to come. I'm kind of a tech junkie anyway, so that's something that I think, as we're watching our heart rates and how far we walked, it just seems like everybody is going to get to the point where we're very comfortable with telemedicine. This COVID-19 has really kind of expedited that for us, and we have started doing telemedicine as part of our transformation in order to take care of our patients and make sure they're still being cared for even during COVID-19. So we've kind of been working on making some lemonade out of lemons over the last couple months. So that's the transitions that have been hard and a little challenging. And now I'm going to share with you some exciting transitions that are happening in the community through Genesis Community Health. So the first one that is so exciting is that we have students who come down and they volunteer, and part of their transformation story is that they get to work alongside of doctors, dentists, nurses, hygienists, people that are professionals. They get to work alongside of them and learn exactly how it's done, how to care for patients, how to make sure that they're asking the right questions. And so we have an awesome opportunity for transformation in our students and also in our patients in our staff as well. So there's a lot of transformation that goes on, and what ends up happening is that these patients get to see these students and interact, and these students end up going on to be the medical providers of the future, the dental providers of the future. And it is so exciting to watch this. One example, and Josh kind of touched on it just a little bit, was that this year we had 6 staff members who applied for University of Washington, same initials. And out of those 6, the 2 staff and the 4 volunteers, everybody got accepted to University of Washington Medical School. And so it's just kind of a goosebumps thing to know that Genesis gets to be a part of transformation of students. And so that's been really exciting. Another exciting thing is with Medicaid expansion, there is going to be a ton of dental opportunity going forward. The dental side of things are not going to have as many spaces for Medicaid, and we know that. We can talk to our volunteers and other dentists in the community, and we know that a lot of them are opting not to have a lot of Medicaid slots. So we know this is something that's going to be a huge demand in Genesis. So we talked with St. Alphonsus, and we talked with Delta Dental, and the exciting thing is that we put together an acute dental program where patients who come into the ER, they don't have a dental office or anywhere to go. They go into the ER at the last moment when they are hurting, when they have infection, when they just really, it's way past when they should have seen somebody. And so they go to the ER, they get the antibiotics, they get the other medications, and then they get released. Well, what we've done is we've worked to say, refer them down to Genesis Community Health. What we'll do is we'll help them with the tooth extraction or whatever else is needed to get them back in shape, but then we'll also walk alongside of them and help them find a dental home that matches their unique situation, their income, their insurance. We will do that so that they can grow from being last-minute emergency situations to being people who get care that's proactive oral health, preventive care, so that they're not in the ERs anymore with a lot of pain and a lot of infection. There's no reason we should have that. And so St. Alphonsus, Delta Dental, and other community partners said, let's make this happen. And we've just started it, but what an exciting thing to see that kind of transformation through Genesis. And of course, the last thing, it goes without saying, every year, we talk about patience. Transformation of patients is why we're there. We're showing them the love of Christ, but we're also walking alongside of them to give them a hand up instead of a hand out so that they can go and get the resources they need, get the health and healing they need, and then they could move on to having insurance, to getting better jobs. And so I'm really excited to share some patient testimonials with you that we will play right now, and so enjoy.
Genesis is an amazing community resource for people that desperately need help, that have no other options open to them.
Genesis has helped me in all the areas that they have available. They've done medical, dental. I see a counselor through you guys also. They got me my partial here because I was missing some teeth. I have diabetes and other things, and not only do you guys take care of me with the doctors and everything here, but I also get my medications here.
So what makes Genesis different than other places is that they're completely free. It's very simple to get in, an easy application process, and everybody's very welcoming regardless of your background.
There are many people who go without medical care just because they can't afford it, or they get substandard care. My hope was to try to contribute to the solution to that problem and provide medical care for free. And this clinic comes as close to that as any place I've ever worked.
I'm here in the US since 5.5 years now. I've been a diabetic. I brought only 6 months medicine from India, thinking that I'd be going back. But then I got my immigration, so I stayed on. I'm not insured, I'm not employed, I'm a dependent. So I very much need help from Genesis, and I am being helped. If I'm able to smile freely, first of all, it's because of God, because He has healed me and given me hope. The second thing is Genesis, which helps me with my dental work. My front tooth was broken, so I felt shy to smile, but now freely I can smile. You have helped me. And then with my diabetic also.
I think the greatest asset here is the people who work here.
It's more than just dental or healthcare. You get to see a lot of the same faces and get to know a lot of the staff, and it just becomes a really welcoming and comfortable environment.
We see quite a few refugees. You have the opportunity to offer compassion and understanding to these folks and help them get through the maze of medical care.
I love that everyone's a volunteer, like there's physicians and nurses and front desk people that have full-time jobs, and they're still taking times out of their day to do this.
What I would say to somebody who's in a position to help Genesis continue doing what they're doing is that any amount of help that they can give would be going to a great cause and a great group of people, and would be helping a lot of people in need.
I've worked my entire life. I do work. I just don't quite make enough to be able to afford certain things.
I'm reminded of Proverbs chapter 3, verse 27. It says, "Do good to those who are in need thus you can glorify God. So there are people who can afford to help, and there are people who are like us, who are in need.
Genesis saved my life.
So I can't thank you enough, all of you who support us and volunteer and donate to make their stories happen. It's just an awesome thing, and I just thank you all. And it's just exciting to see what you're doing and what God is doing to transform their lives. So I can't thank you enough all through this night. But now is something exciting for many of you. You have been waiting for this, and the Boise boys, I got to tell you a little story about how I came to reach out and be able to have them come speak with us. My mom, we get together every week, and she's like, okay, we're going to put aside our normal shows. We're going to watch these Boise boys, and they are amazing. And I was like, okay, Mom, sure, we'll watch it. She likes the HGTV shows, and it's in Boise, and they were amazing. Just to see how they transform houses like we're transforming people, it's just making Boise a more beautiful and amazing place. And as I was kind of paralleling it, I just realized that these guys have a heart for the Lord. They have a heart for their families, and they are making a difference in this community. And so it is just an exciting pleasure to introduce Clint and Luke, as Clint said, Kluke, and have them come and speak with you. But first, we're going to see a promo video in case you're one of those people that just haven't seen HGTV.
Look at this. And look at the ceiling, Luke.
This is cool.
I got 3 words for this house. I mean, craftsmanship.
That actually worked. Craftsmanship. That was clever.
Our business is completely transforming dysfunctional houses.
Well, yeah! You have got to be kidding me.
This is not going to work.
It is going to work. Clint handles all the construction.
And Luke does the designs.
So you would be cool if I painted that in our project?
Absolutely not.
We may not always agree. No! We're probably going to have to fix this, but we go all in.
We got 9 kids between the 2 of us.
I know, I got 6 of them.
We got to make money on this house.
Well, there you go.
Hey, everybody.
How's everyone doing? We are so excited to be here. My name is Luke. This is my good friend Clint.
Hope y'all are doing well tonight. We are excited to be here because of the impact that the Genesis Clinic has, not just on the lives of those who, as were discussed earlier in that window, who are a lot of people, but I kind of come at it from a little bit different perspective. I've got 3 boys who are going to medical school, which is why I'm still working like I am. But our middle boy, Elijah, and our youngest boy, Daniel. Daniel is a freshman at BSU. My oldest boy, Elijah's graduating from the University of Oklahoma. And they've both been volunteering for the Genesis Clinic. And it's really made a difference in their life, being able to be raised up under believer doctors who are kind of showing them the ropes of how to not just treat a person's symptoms, but to treat what's really ailing them. And that's what they really need is a real relationship with their maker. And I'm thankful that guys and gals are out there offering this kind of service, not only to the folks, but are willing to raise up young doctors under them to do what really matters. And that's really change lives, not only change the flesh, but really the deeper spirit of the person.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is so great. And I think more than anything for Clint and I mean, we love our community. We love Boise, Idaho. And we love the Treasure Valley. We want to give back to people. And I think this is such a great opportunity. What an amazing ministry Genesis has to be able to open up, their hearts and their lives and their time and their resources to say, look, we're here for you. We want to help you. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter if you feel, insecure about coming to a place and asking for something free. That's what it's all about. And so definitely, if you need help, anyone who does, encourage them to go to Genesis. It's an amazing place that really is welcoming to anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter what your background is or where your financial status is. They are willing to help. And that's what's so incredible. And that's why we're so thankful to be able to play a small part in encouraging you guys who are watching tonight to give, because this is something that, knowing that you are giving to something that has value and that really is connecting and helping people in a real practical way. And ultimately, that's the best way, is something that actually helps them on a day-to-day basis, like dental care or any of the practical things that, Genesis offers to people.
Well, and we try to be selective too. We want to be supporting businesses. We want to be supporting charities that are not just in business to make money. And that is definitely not what Genesis is up to. They're making renewed lives from both healing and through the Spirit. And we want to be part of that. Because most of the money that you donate is going to go right to serving these folks. We've seen it. We've been a part of it, and we love that the hearts, the volunteer, and the Genesis Clinic. We've actually had a couple folks who worked for us who were referred to Genesis. A lady with some cancer on the bridge of her nose, and the good thing about the Genesis Clinic, they were able to give her some support in the clinic, and also reference her out to their wider network of folks who actually now the lady's nose, she got everything she needed to remove the cancer and to restore her nose to where you'd never even know that she'd had the cancer removed.
She looks great. Rosie and Julio.
Yep.
They've been working for us for a long time. They're amazing.
Yep. Good folks. Well, Luke, I know we've got some questions here that some folks
we do have some questions.
I've got my clipboard here with a few of them
and I've got a piece of paper. I was going to use my phone, but I don't want people to think I was looking at the draft, because I'm definitely tempted.
There's what draft? What draft?
NFL.
Okay, I got you.
Mr. College Boy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my favorite question on this list, Luke, I'm just going to dive in.
So these are just questions people are giving us?
Yeah, these are some questions that some of the viewers and some of the folks around here have written for us.
Okay.
But I'm drawn to this third question here about what's your favorite food or restaurant meal, Luke?
Oh, from Jackie.
Yes.
Wow, that's a tricky one.
That question is probably more directed to you than it is to me.
Yeah.
But so why don't you lead this off?
You want me to start with that?
Yeah.
So, in general, if we're talking favorite food, I'm more of a sweets person, as you know that. I love coffee. I love sweets. I could have that over food probably any day of the week. But I think food in general, I would probably say Diablo and Sons downtown.
Oh, we're going restaurants. We're not going specific meals here. You're going straight for the.
I went straight for the. I like a good burger, and I think they have the best burger in Boise. So.
Yeah, I'm with you on that burger, and those ribs are pretty good too.
How about you?
Well.
I'm assuming Jackie was actually talking to you.
Well, I don't know why you'd assume that, but I will give you my choices.
You're more passionate about.
I am
thinking that you know what is the best food everywhere you go.
And anyone who would look at us would probably agree that I probably do know where the best food is compared to you.
That's a good point.
And my go-to is a good tender chicken fried steak.
I actually knew that.
Where it's you bread it up real good. Deep fry it, get a little cream gravy, maybe some bacon drippings in that gravy. Got you some mashed potatoes on the side, maybe some fried okra. And while you're at it with those bacon drippings, you throw that over the green beans, and you got yourself a good meal if you have a good yeast roll with it. That's a meal.
Sounds heavy.
That's lunch. You want to hear what I'd eat for dinner?
No.
Okay.
I know what you'd eat for. Clint is the only person I know who has a commercial-grade fryer in his kitchen. I'm not kidding you. He does, and
You don't have a commercial grade fryer in your kitchen?
I don't have a fryer, period. I just go to the places that have fried food. I don't make it myself.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes too long to get down to get your French fries. You can just pop them right in there.
I actually had McDonald's French fries for lunch with a medium
You've
Coke.
got that card where they give you the French fries for $1.
99 cents.
I need to get me one of those.
It's on the mobile app. Okay, let me find a question that I like, since you got to talk about your food. Let's see here. Clint. Is it difficult to balance your work with Timber and Love when filming for HGTV?
Well, yes, it actually is. Our business is renovating homes, as y'all probably know, and Luke and I have spent a long time. We actually met I'm from Texas originally, and I was in the real estate business when I met Luke, and wanting to get more involved in Boise because the real estate market really wasn't as hot as it is now, kind of in a Goldilocks zone. And you were finishing up a flip, and Luke knew the area. I knew the business, and between the two of us, we're both kind of business folks. And but when we jumped in, we were actually renovating homes, and now our new show is going to be renovating homes for other people instead of buying, renovating, and selling. And so we are still running our normal business of buying, renovating, and selling, while at the same time renovating homes for other people. And being on camera is kind of a full-time deal when we're filming.
It is. It's actually been nice to have a little bit of a break right now. We're an essential business, so we're actually I think we're flipping 6 houses right now, and we're also preparing for our new series on HGTV, which Clint just mentioned is going to be renovating for clients. And so we have a little bit of a break just as far as the filming goes. So we're really able to just focus on the design and then our stuff that we're doing off camera. Yeah. So it's been nice.
But we really try to get staffed up well right before we start, because when we did our pilot and then season 1, we didn't really know how big of it was a lot to do. I mean, our heads were spinning. So we've learned since that pilot and first season. So we staffed up pretty well, and who knows, it'll still be crazy no matter what we're doing.
Well, that's the crazy thing, is that people think that we're not actually doing the work, but we actually have to work. I mean, I'm designing every single house and picking out every single finish. I stage every house myself, and it's a lot.
I've got to argue with him about all of his choices. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's what Clint. That's what he contributes. He argues.
That's exactly right.
That's the contribution.
In this scenario, it is contribution.
So it's been crazy to actually try to balance all that while still being on camera. It takes a lot, but thankfully, it's not staged. A lot of people wonder, like, they tell us what to say or what to do. They're really just following us around. The first day they showed up, we were like, all right, what do you want us to do? And they're like, just do whatever you do. We're going to follow you guys around. And literally, they take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of film for just a 1-hour episode. And so we never know what's going to make the show. They don't show us anything before it airs. So every time we watch our show, we're watching at the same time everyone else is, and we have no idea what's happening.
I was really pleased to see in the episode, we did an East End home where we did Luke put a mural in the home. It's a whole other story, but I was very pleased to see the scene where Luke thought this dead raccoon had come back to life when I jabbed him with a stick as he was walking over it. So that was one of my favorite scenes, actually.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
To get me to scream?
You did scream.
I know. That was...
Sounded like a young lady in the house.
My wife's laughing at me.
Screaming.
Ridiculous.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it made the show.
Yeah, fun
How
stuff.
could it not?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely interesting. But what do you think was what was your favorite house that we've done thus far?
Well, you know my favorite. It's the old. It's the one I didn't want to buy because it was at auction.
Oh, the firehouse.
The firehouse. We were down at another house. It was still season 1. We were finishing out a house around the corner, and Luke said, "Oh, we got to go to this auction." I said, "Luke, all our money's tied up in these other houses. We can't auction. We can't buy anything. Oh, well, let's just see if it goes cheap. We'll buy it." And so we get down there, and of course
wouldn't let me hold the paddle.
No, well, of course not. You don't let a you don't let the
I saw the worth. Put it that way.
Yeah, you never let the coyote run the hen house in a situation like this. So it's anyway, we won the old firehouse in the auction, and now that is our real estate office. I mean, we actually have a brokerage, a real estate brokerage, and so that's our brokerage office. And the upstairs is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath rental.
Yeah, nightly rental. So I guess you could thank me for forcing you to go down to that auction, because it's now your favorite home. Isn't that ironic?
It is ironic. It wasn't at the time, though.
See, and that's what's so amazing about working with someone else, is that there's this constant give and take where two really are better than one. And that's what's so fun, is that, Clint and I both, can do this stuff on our own. We didn't need each other, but what's so great, kind of like what Steve was just talking about earlier, is that when you partner together, you really have this, when you have this great synergy where everyone's playing their part, it's amazing what you can accomplish. And we've really seen that time and time again as we've been going through this process, and knowing, that we can do so much more together than we ever could separately. Because, maybe Clint could be, flipping 1 or 2 houses on his own, and me 1 or 2 houses on my own. But even right now, I mean, we could flip 10 houses simultaneously easy together right now because of the systems and the synergy that we have together.
Well, speaking of which, Luke, I'd like to get a little more in-depth in your brain on this so I can maybe understand you a little bit better. Okay. But Josh was asking, what inspires your creativity in home design? And I've always been kind of scared to ask you that question because I don't know what I'm going to find up there. But maybe you could help Josh and me both kind of understand that a little bit.
What inspires my creativity in home design?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think more than anything, you got to be creative. And creativity is thinking outside the box. It's trying things that are new, unexpected. I really, actually, I used to play music a lot. And one of the things that I learned from songwriting is that you want to invoke an emotion. And so when you're writing, you write in a way that when someone listens to the song, they can really feel something. And so if we're listening to a song from the 40s or the 60s, you kind of get this immediate feeling. And
40s were a good era for music, by the way.
It was great. And you can really just kind of feel what they're feeling. That recording and the tone of the voice and the whole atmosphere just creates this vibe. And you don't even know exactly why you like it, but you just like it, and it gets going. And I love that about songwriting because it's this process and everything just kind of comes together. And I feel like home design is very much the same way. As a lot of people walk into a space, they don't know why they like it. They don't know why they're drawn to it, but they just love it. They feel comfortable there. They feel welcome. They feel warmth, whatever it might be. And that's what's so cool about home design and creativity within it, because there's so many pieces that you can layer on top of each other, just like a song, and merge together to create this hopefully beautiful ending where people walk in and just say, wow, I like this. I'm not exactly sure why, but this is great. And that's what I think of when, every single house has a feel that I'm going for. And so I start with the feel.
You're composing the song of the home is what I hear you saying.
Exactly. And maybe that's the title of a book I should write.
Composing your home without composure.
Powerful stuff right there. All right, let's see.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's see. You know what? I like this top question. Allison asks, what is one actionable piece of advice you would give to a new entrepreneur or business owner? Now, Luke, you and I are kind of serial entrepreneurs because we love business, just kind of small business. Mm-hmm. And I think the first thing I would say to people is become your own expert. Don't rely on the people on the outside. Work long. The internet is replete with information these days. Become an expert yourself. Don't rely on other people, and run with your hair on fire. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Do not stop. When you get a curveball thrown at you, just keep pushing forward. And that's where in my experience, most entrepreneurs fall out. Is they get to a point where they think, well, maybe it wasn't meant for me. Just know that we all started at that point. I mean, you might want to talk about your start. I mean, we all started where we didn't know anything, where we just had to learn. And the difference, I think, between the folks who keep going and the people who stop is success and failure.
So tell us how you got started just in business, because I know you've had a lot of different small businesses. How have you gotten started and kind of gone through the process and then figured out where you landed now, primarily in real estate?
Well, I was fortunate. I grew up in a home with entrepreneurs. My parents met down at the University of Texas. My dad was a CPA, and he got into small fast food restaurants. And so I kind of grew up tinkering and listening to him. I saw him do real estate deals on the back of a napkin when he'd buy a store or what have you, from an old, from someone out in a small town. So it's interesting. It's an exposure that I should, I'm very fortunate for, because most people don't see that in a successful story. And so I didn't know any other way to do it. When I was coming out of college, I didn't know anything. I mean, I worked for a CPA firm, for a law firm, but I
can't imagine you behind a desk.
No, I'd chew a hole through a desk, but it's that's why I didn't last long there. But I just love being out and seeing things happen. And to me, the early stages of the business are more fun than even the later stages. That's probably why I'm a serial entrepreneur. I like getting things rolling, getting them moving, and then kind of looking over at that other pasture where the grass is greener.
I've noticed.
Now, you started off the grass. Hey, that's right. There's always a better snack across the fence. Now, I want to hear the story again about you delivering newspapers when you were a kid.
Okay, so I was in 4th grade. I lived in the North End, 1020 North 23rd Street, and I would get up at 4:30 in the morning, and they'd drop off all the papers. And
you lost me at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I would do a triple fold on them, rubber band, and triple fold.
You worked down the triple fold?
And just get them going. And I tried everything. I was always trying to figure out how to make my route faster. And so from jogging to riding my bike, which didn't work out well, because it's really hard to get a good throw when you're actually riding your bike. It's not like the old video game on Nintendo, Paper Route.
Yeah, Paper Route.
It was really difficult. And so I think I tried roller skates once. That
Wait,
didn't go so
you
well.
were roller skating and delivering papers.
That's true. And what I found out worked more than anything else was the scooter. The scooter version actually worked really good because you'd be on your scooter, you kind of go, and you could still, you didn't have anything hitting you while you're trying to throw the papers. So I loved the paper route. It was pretty fun. I also did sales. I'd go door to door when I was a really little kid, selling everything from acorns to stuff wait a minute.
You would go door to door selling acorns as
from
a
my
kid.
front yard, and I'd get some.
Was life that tough as a kid?
Oh, I was just trying to make money. I wanted to go down to 7-Eleven and buy Laffy Taffies. And that's the truth.
And what's so funny is your Elias, your oldest boy, is just like him. I laugh. In fact, Elias called me this week and was wanting to talk about the coin that he bought online because he loves little buying and selling coins.
That wasn't a little coin. That was a pure gold $5 coin.
Yeah, I know. He's moving on up.
Yeah, he's funny. He was like, "Dad, I know this is expensive, but I have $500 in my bank account, and this is a risk I'm willing to take."
But tell him, I mean, that $500 wasn't just given to him. I mean, he's built that up from buying and selling those little coins and stuff.
Buys and sells coins, and he's a funny kid. He's a sweet kid. But I got involved in real estate just because my wife and I were wanting to adopt. And I know you know the story, but for those of you who don't, it was really, I was touring full time in a worship band and loved leading worship, and it was really a passion of mine. Not as much the music part of it, but just connecting with people and just the whole aspect of serving others, and it was really neat just to see meet different people all over the country. But we really wanted to adopt, and we weren't making a lot of money touring a touring musician. You just don't. And so we didn't have $35,000 laying around. We had 2 kids of our own, and we kind of talked about it and realized, we got to figure out how to make some money to do this. And the only thing I knew is that you could make money in real estate. And my grandpa was very involved in real estate growing up, and so I knew it was kind of in my blood. And I talked to some friends and decided to buy this old beater house at auction, and went down to the courthouse and bought it. And it was a project. I mean, I didn't have a Clint with me back in the day, and it was tough. I didn't know anything. I hadn't ever picked up any tools. I mean, I wasn't at all versed in anything construction. I had a vision for what I could do, but I didn't realize how hard it was to get to that point. I have a little better understanding of that now, thanks to Clint telling me, reminding me each and every day.
Well, we still try to keep the power tools out of your hands because the last time you used one, you almost cut your finger off.
I didn't. I sliced it. I still have the scar.
Yeah, well, it's a little more than that. You can't bend it anymore, can you?
It's bad.
Yeah.
But all that to say,
where was the Genesis clinic? Where's the Genesis clinic
right?
when we needed him?
I was down at the dock in the box.
That's right.
Well, anyways, we ended up flipping that house and came up with quite a bit of money to be able to adopt our son Morris from China. And he's just the sweetest little boy, and we just kept doing it. That's how I got involved in real estate. And now we've adopted 5 kids, 4 from China, all have special needs, and then our newest little girl from Ukraine. And it's really been the joy of our lives and really the why. We were talking about, investors, some piece of advice, and that would be mine is just knowing that your why of why you want to do this, like what's the end goal? Because it's hard to get passionate and like you said, keep putting one foot in front of the other if you don't truly have a why of why am I doing this. Otherwise that's why you can give up quickly. But, you and I both have strong whys with our families and just wanting to be providers, to be men and fathers and husbands that just take care of our families. And so we're so grateful for this opportunity that we've had through Timber and Love, our company, and then also now through the show on HGTV, just to be able to continue to provide for our families. And we've been able to adopt all of our kids. And it's just been such an amazing journey together with our families. And we just feel so blessed and connected and so thankful for our community and so thankful to be here with you guys tonight.
Well, and you hit upon a little bit. Most times when we do these Q&As, if we're at a home show or if we're, talking to a group of people, everybody wants to know how we got the show.
True.
And
because we didn't reach out for this. A lot of people think that we were like trying to get a show.
Yeah, it was odd how we kind of just fell into it. We had a situation where Luke and I, the very first house we worked on together, was here in Meridian, where we're
the only time we've ever done a house in Meridian.
Yeah, exactly, and it was our first one. And Luke's kind of a social media savant. And so he was posting some things about he and I working on some stuff, some funny things that happened. And, something would happen, we'd laugh, and we'd say, where's a camera when you need it to catch something stupid like this? Not really thinking that was, not even, we'd
Never
say
crossed
that.
our mind.
Yeah, but, and so Luke would throw up some funny things on Facebook that just happened. And bam, it was like all the corks started bobbing at once. And we were getting phone calls from several different production companies. Well, come to find out, HGTV had put out word to their production companies that they were looking for some folks in the Pacific Northwest region because they didn't have a show in the Pacific Northwest at the time. And they were looking for something other than a husband-wife pair. They actually specifically asked for an odd couple.
Duo.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what they saw in us about an odd couple. But they, but they thought we fit the bill, and so we went through.
Man, that was a long process.
It
like
was
a
a long
2-year process, probably.
Yeah, well, before we actually started, it was 2 years before they ever started running film on the pilot.
Yeah, there's so many times they have to say yes. There's literally like 20 yeses that have to happen.
One no in there and you're done.
And it was just crazy. The whole time we didn't think it was actually going to come out to anything because we'd met a lot of people who have actually been reached out to by production companies. And it always just kind of fizzles out, or you do a pilot and the pilot doesn't do well. They don't promote the pilot, so all they're doing is they air it and they want to see retention. So they never promote it, they don't talk about it, they just throw it on the air. And if it retains well for that entire hour, then maybe you have a shot. If the higher ups like it,
then maybe you can do a season
or a second airing.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what they did with us. And not only did we started with a sizzle reel where basically they said, here we want you to film a little bit of yourself, what you're doing. And so we said, okay, well we'll send that in to you. And then they wanted what they called an act 1, where they'd film like what the first
like a 7 minutes
of
or
the
something
show would look like. Yeah. And then we went to pilot. Then we went to season 1. Then we went to, and it's every step is a bigger step.
You're just waiting for them to say like,
exactly.
Yeah, we're done with you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But lo and behold, now I think we have three shows on HGTV.
We're actually filming in the next month. We'll be filming 3 different shows that are coming up on HGTV, and we're excited that one of them is going to come out on Father's Day because HGTV has told us they really want to focus on us as being the dads of HGTV. So the next opportunity is probably going to be Father's Day.
Yeah.
And then there's another special that's going to come out where...
Which is pretty fun. They're actually having us shoot it ourselves because of the whole quarantine. So we're going to be... The neat thing is they really want more of our families involved. As they got to know us better, they just kept saying, hey, we want your guys' families as involved as you're willing to let them be involved. And so we're all for it. So we're really excited because our families are going to be a lot more involved in this new series, as well as this like quarantine series that they're going to be doing, where we help people fix their fails on things that they've DIY projects they've done themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And hope ours looks better than theirs at the end of it is the key here.
It will. It'll look better.
Well, I guess that's probably, we could ramble on all night, but we're here.
We could.
For Genesis, because we believe in the Genesis Clinic. We believe in what Steve and the guys are doing down there. And we think that there's no better place. And honestly, at a time like right now, with all the crazy things going on in the world, there are people who are hurting a lot more than we are, a lot more than anyone who's watching us tonight, who need the services that the Genesis Clinic offers. These are good docs. They care. They're humble. and they are there to help and serve. And so there's no better place if you've got that niggling on your heart right now that you should be helping this organization out. I can think of no better place than right now. Click that button, call in, and help out the Genesis Clinic. We're supporting them, and we hope y'all do too. So I think next, I think Steve Davis, the CEO, is going to come back up and tell you a little bit about where we're going in the future with the Genesis Clinic.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was as exciting and as awesome as I thought it was going to be. Listening to those guys and just hearing their hearts for each other and their hearts for their family. What an exciting, thankful thing to have those guys here tonight. So Clint and Luke, just thank you so much for being here. And, you know, it's kind of funny. That was one of the things. I'm more like Clint, and Luke has that personality of artistic personality. And I remember the first time my wife painted an accent wall, I just swore to her that all walls in a room have to be the same color. And so we did go around, and I'm glad there are artistic people out there. And so those guys are awesome, so thank you very much. Well, we've got some exciting things happening at Genesis Community Health. One of the things that Clint alluded to for businesses is that it's really important to keep going and keep momentum even during the hard times. When a curveball comes, you've got to keep moving forward. And I'm excited to share with you tonight that we actually have one of those opportunities that's going to happen this year. So we have been talking with Canyon Community Clinic out in Caldwell, and they are also a faith-based clinic. They started with a Bible study, and as the years have went on, they've grown, and they continue to serve the Canyon County. Well, they've been a couple years without a CEO, and we've been wanting and praying for how we could expand into the Canyon County and the rest of the Treasure Valley. And it just so happened, you know, how God works, these incidents come together. And I'm excited to share with you guys that this year it's looking like we're going to do a merger with them. So what that would mean is Genesis Community Health would now have 2 clinic locations. We would have 2 new employees, and their board will be a transitionary board who will help us through this process. And so we are really excited and blessed to be announcing that this is moving forward. Both boards have agreed to it. We have voted it in, and now it's just the process of putting the agreement together, learning about each other, and it should happen probably in the next 60 days. So it's just a huge blessing that God kind of put together. And when you hear our heart for vision, for access to health care and a path for well-being to everyone, this just falls right in line with that mission, and it also aligns with their mission. So that's something really exciting that we are happy to share with you. This is our first night we're sharing it. So moving forward, after this year. So one of the things I get asked a lot is, how are we going to be sustainable? What are the things that make us last and have made us last for 19 years and that are going to make us last another 19 years? And the first thing that comes to mind is partnerships. So it's all of you that are listening tonight that are having a heart for volunteering, for getting the word out about what we do, for financially partnering with us, for letting us be a part of the programs in the community so that we're providing our part. That's how we're going to continue to be in this community and be sustainable. And it happens with everyone working together. It was kind of cool. They were talking about all those layers. At Genesis Community Health, if we don't have the layers of our volunteers, if we don't have the layers of our staff and of you, the donors, this just does not work. But you guys are awesome, and continuously you just surprise us and amaze us. And so I just feel really comfortable about the fact that we will have a future and we will continue moving forward. So one of the things that we also have to do is trust in the Lord. Like right now, there's some things that we're going through as a country and as a world that we haven't faced before. And it's definitely going to be a memory that we all remember, but we're trusting in the Lord that He's going to make these things go forward. We're going to continue to be able to offer care. We're going to be able to offer His love. We're going to be able to stand up and say, hey, yes, this is a bad time, but we will help our neighbor. We will walk alongside with others, and we will make a difference. So that's how I know that we will be sustainable for the long run, and how we're going to continue to make a difference in the Treasure Valley by all of us together. So how do you partner financially? Now, there's several different methods based on your comfort level, because this is virtual and you all have different comfort levels. We've got all of them on ready for you to go. The first one is if you hit escape and you don't have the full screen anymore, there's a couple really easy donate online buttons, and those are there for you. You push it. It's totally what we call PCI, where it's taking your information and totally confidential, so you can use it. And it is safe, but some of you, that's not the way you would like to do it. So for some of you, you may want to text. So if you text, if you look at the instructions on the screen, you would dial 9199 as the 91999 as the phone number, and all you do is you put Genesis 2020 space, your name, space, and then the amount that you want to give tonight. And that will start the process. It'll tell us on the progress bar how much you donated, so you can see us approaching that $45,000 goal. And that's another way if you like texting. For other people, you may prefer the mail, and if you got the program, there is a slip of paper in there and a return envelope. By all means, feel free to fill that form out and put that in the mail, and we will certainly get that in the next few days. And the cool thing, by the way, about this event page is that as those donations come in through the mail, we'll keep updating that progress bar, and you'll see it continuing to tick towards the 45,000. So that's another way you can do it. And then, of course, the last way, an easy way, is we have some of our team members and volunteers who are down at Genesis right now, and you could give them a phone call at 208-384-5200, and they will take your donation right over the phone, and you'll be all set, and you're all done with it. So those are all the different ways that we have set it up so that you can make a donation. And it's whatever you prayerfully feel led to give. We are so blessed. The Lord has provided for us, and you are a blessing in that. But we don't want this to feel pressured, and it's just what you feel you could do to help others in your community. So please think of it that way and feel that way as you're making the donation. And so now we're going to have one last patient video. It's not a video, it's actually a slideshow, but it's an amazing slideshow of patients who have seen transformation in their lives. And we want you to watch this. And then after that, I'm excited to say that Dr. Watts is going to come up, and he's going to make our closing comments, and he's going to pray for all of us. And so enjoy this video.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. Oh, I worship you, Jesus, I worship. You're turning lives around. You are here, oh, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship. You're mending every heart. You are here, and you're mending every heart. I worship you, yeah. I worship you, Lord. And you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Yeah, you're the waymaker, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Yeah, sing it again. You are, yeah, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, yeah, that is who you are. Oh, it's who you are, Jesus, yeah. And waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is, sing, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. And that is who you are. Oh, and that is who you are. That is who you are. My Jesus, that is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, we lift you up. That is who you are. That is who you are. My Jesus, yes it is, yeah. It's who you are, waymaker. Let's sing this together. Even when I don't see it. Come on, even when. Even when I don't see it, you're working.
Hello, I'm Carl Watts, Dr. Carl Watts. I'm the founder of Genesis Community Health. Yes, it is me. I am clean shaven now. Cursed coronavirus. Those N95 masks just don't fit properly when you have a beard. So, yeah, I'm not happy about that. I think my strength has been taken away like Samson, you know, it's like crazy. Anyway, I have been with this organization from the start. This is new for me. I've seen every fundraiser I think there is, and a virtual sort of this web-based one. I just don't like it. I like seeing you guys and interacting with you guys. So promise me, next year we are going to get together and have a big party because we couldn't do it this year. Anyway, I'm very pleased to be with you. Thank you, Clint and Luke from the Boise Boys, for being with us. One thing, I have one up on Luke. I was a paper boy also in the 5th and 6th grade. I delivered papers on my bike, and I could land a paper from 25 yards, road to porch, in one throw. So I have one up on one of the Boise Boys. Yay. Well, you know, this coronavirus, it's been a challenge in a lot of ways. in a lot of negative ways, but you know what? I think it's been a lot of positive ways. Trials teach us lots of things. Some things are bad, some things are good, but I think this trial hopefully will bring out a lot of good things, sort of like, a fire in a crucible and burning away kind of the things that really don't make a difference and shining a light on the things that do make a difference. And people do make a difference. I think we all know that. I was really intrigued with the Boise boys as they kind of were talking, and one thing kind of really caught me when they said, why? Why is it that they do what they do? Why is it that we do what we do? And the fire that burned in me in terms of, when Genesis first started and all these years of ups and downs and challenges and recruiting and fundraising and hearing the sad tales of some of our patients, was we do it because of the love of Jesus Christ. To show that, I tell you what, my life has been so very blessed. Here in Boise, my wife, my kids, my work, my relationships, it's all about that. So, when you think about it, the why for us still remains. Even in this challenge of this cursed coronavirus, the why still remains. We will persevere. We will have hope. We will have faith. We will build relationships. We will transform. And we will continue because God enables us to do so. Thank you for joining us here tonight. I hope it was a blessing for you, sort of a new event. And let me close in prayer. Father God, I thank you, and we honor you, and we bless you tonight, that we can continue in the service that you have recruited us in doing. Bless all those here that have made this happen. Bless all those out there that give, support, engage, take care of these patients. Help us through this time. It's only temporary with this challenge of this virus and this pandemic. All to thy glory. Amen.
Heaven and earth alike. We've seen your faithful hand, your mercy will